myself and Manny, and we came out with the album, and then we wake up, and then it's like we're number 2 on the iTunes charts, and the only person above us is Drake. And then I was like, oh, like maybe I don't suck, you know what I mean? Like maybe I don't suck at this. And then we charted, but like for multiple days, which is like never heard of from like an indie artist. And so that moment was kind of crazy. And then like now that I look back at pretty much this last 6 months of just, you know, kind of going at it. And I remember when my goal was to get 1,000 monthly listeners, and then like at our peak we were almost close to 14, 15, and then like now we're just walking around with 12 to 13,000 a month. And then my goal was just to be happy with it. And I think like it's just crazy to digest. And now it's cool because, you know, now songs are on radio. Like we were on 103.5. We've been on all these different, you know, radio stations, and it's just been like such a great experience. And what's been kind of the coolest is at my album release party, my parents are never in a good mood, like together, right? Like they can't be in the same room, right? Like they just can't be in the same room. And I remember like the album comes out, and if the 2 things you never want to tell your black parents is that if you're a girl, that you are a stripper, or if you're like a guy, you're a rapper. Like that's just like, you don't do, like my parents are so traditional and Southern, like they have failed as parents. Like me telling my mom, I was like, you know, Mom, like I think I want to rap. And she's like, who baby want to rap? Like you don't know my mom, but if I played a clip of my mother, you'd be like, oh, that's the perfect spot on impersonation. And then, you know, my parents just didn't get it, and they both came to the album release party, and like they saw it and digested it. And like my dad's traveling the world wearing Peace and Blessings t-shirts. It's like the cutest thing in the world. And so like it's super overwhelming, but I wouldn't have it any other way, you know what I mean? Like growing up, my dad used to say dreams don't work dreams don't work unless you do. My grandfather used to say, keep working, it's working. And then also, that's one grandfather. My other grandfather used to always say peace and blessings. So that's kind of like how my mantras, you know, he was a reverend in the church. So every time he would walk up to somebody and meet them, he'd be like this: peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Wow. Right? So that's how I came up with the album. Both. Yeah. So that's keep awesome. Keep working, it's working, and peace and blessings. So it's been great. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hard nights. Cause like now you kind of have a meter to range yourself against, right? So it's like, we knew how much work it took to get this. Now it's going to take another Herculean amount of effort. More. That's the clip right there. Yeah. So, it's funny because Manny actually like came up with, kind of like the title of it or whatever, right? He always was saying to me like, fuck it, bro, we need more. Like we need more. Like I need more bars, I need more cadences, more flows, more success, more happiness, right? And then it was like, fuck it, I just need more, bro. And that's kind of where we're rocking with it. And like I'm just really happy with where the progress has gone from the, like my pin stake and being really methodical around like what to do, what to put out, the image, and like, you know, always trying to put on a good show, always trying to put on good energy. So it's coming soon.
Oh yeah. And can you explain the sample at the end of Click Twice? It's like a shorty talking. What's that from?
Miami girls be like, you know what I mean? So I always show love to Miami, and I thought the clip was hilarious. It was like, you don't like him, but yeah, like he's super tall and like he's super funny, right? And I was like, yeah, clearly I'm super tall and I'm super funny, right? Like it just fits, right? It fits, you know what I mean? Like before we started, hey BB, am I still 6 feet? Oh, see, there you go, right? We got one person to say yes. So yeah, that's I snatched it off of TikTok. It just fit really, really well. And
awesome.
I always say it's Miami over everything. So there's always little bits and pieces of Miami that like, if you're not from here, you wouldn't get. But like if you hear it, you'll kind of identify with it.
I felt like I had heard it before. I felt like I was having deja vu. I was like, where did he get this clip from? Like, it's
what do you mean? You got that from like any girl you've ever met south of like Coral Way, bro.
You hear it all the time. Somebody hearing this podcast are like, I just heard this yesterday in the club.
Yeah,
Like,
facts. Facts.
It's cool because it's right that record comes right before Love Jones, which is also like one of my favorite records off the whole project. It's very sly, it's very smooth, just gangster record. I think it's I Am Iconic. That's the feature on it. It's
Iconic.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
So, quick story about that. You know, I graciously and affectionately hate him so much. I hate him so.
Drop him right here.
Like, I hate him so much. We had been going to the we hang out all the time. He's my DJ. We hang out all the time, and our group chat is filled of vintage tees, sneakers, something happening with Kanye, current events, all this stuff, right?
That's so funny.
We had a show for Crazy Hood that we were not Crazy Hood. We had a show. I think we were doing Lincoln's Brewery. We're ready to put the album, like, turn it in. We're like the end of practice for this show, right?
Yeah.
And he has all the music. It's not like he's like the person telling me what to rap. Okay, I tell him what type of crowd it is. He puts together the set. He puts together everything. I just simply rap. He does everything else.
Awesome.
Okay, he picks the set. Manny gives us the green light, and then we go rock. Right? I have very little to do with the set. Right? At the end of practice, he goes, "Hey man, I just been working on this. I just, whatever. Can you hear it? Can you just listen to it or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man." He's like, "Yeah, I've been working on this for about a couple months, and like, I might just put it out on SoundCloud, right?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool, just play it, bro. Like, no worries." He presses play, and it's Love Jones, right? And I'm
No
like,
way.
do you hate me?
That's
Do you
crazy.
dislike me?
That's crazy.
Right? Like, why are you putting, like, you treat me like an ugly stepchild sometimes, right? And he's like, I mean, like, if you want it, I mean, you could have it for the project. And I'm like, bro, like, of course, yes, I want this for the project. And then I rapped my heart out the first rendition of it. And he looked at me in the car and was like, nah, that's bad. That was, like, not it. And I was like, oh, all right. So then I did it again, and I said the same verse twice, back to back. The ones that he said sucked. It was the same verses I said to him, and he was like, yo, man, that shit was hard. And I was like, you just don't listen to anything I'm saying at all. Like, he doesn't listen to anything I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I love him. That's my brother. But yeah, that's one of the ones, people really like.
That's a dope one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also say too that at one point you were too busy living, you forgot to live.
Yeah.
What was there like a moment, a catalyst that made you realize that or made you feel that way? Was there like a specific moment? What was going on that made you write that bar? What were you thinking of when you wrote that?
Man. I kind of felt like everyone kind of tells you, like, how to be happy, right? Like, your friends and family have this, like, vision of you and set, like, expectations around what happiness looks like, right? Like, your parents always say, I just want the best for you, right? But, like, what if the best for me is just I simply want to be happy, right? And I think, like, I was super Miami'd out. I was popping bottles, spending my retirement on everybody's section. I was going out all the time and, surrounding myself with people that, like, really wasn't my energy. And I think I told my parents, I was like, yo, like, I did everything you guys told me to do. You said, go to school, did that. Get the good job, did that. Date this girl, get that, right? And I think, like, after every day, I was like, I'm just not happy, right? So, but I was so busy trying to live, like, trying to, like, hit live and do all these clubs and stuff that I forgot to, like, actually enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
forget what everybody else says and all that. And I think, like, when Iconic and I and Manny and I, we all linked up, I think the biggest thing that we said was lacking in most music is authenticity, right? Like, I am everything in my records, right? Like, I am that. I'm
From Miami.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, all day, every day. So I think, like, some people go to live and trying to live for a living, you know what I mean? I was like, what's the next part? Oh yeah, life filled with women, will I ever see children? Lord, I know you bless me, but when these moments end, the reward, acknowledgement, but not intent, because times is hard, sometimes you have to vent, you know what I mean? When you said this life in me, tell me exactly what you meant, for real, it's like the will you gotta reinvent, you know what I mean? Like, it just, I was comfortable being myself, right? I didn't want to be anybody else, right? So I think that's the hardest thing people do in music is that they make music for what people want to hear, where I like just try to just rap whatever I want, and then we try to make it digestible as possible.